Am I the asshole for refusing to use the study room and saying it doesn't feel like home? Quick background. My mom died when I, 16 female, was 8 and my dad remarried when I was 13. His wife has a son who is 2 years younger than me. The transition was not smooth. We moved in together after they got married and the house they bought together was supposed to be home for everyone. But I wasn't allowed to have a photo of my mom in the living room with the other photos of family. It was said it would be disrespectful. I said I thought they told us to make it feel like home and they told me to find another way. I said well it won't feel like home without a photo of my mom up in the living space. They shrugged it off. It was a sore point between us and something I still feel was unfair to me when technically, her family are all strangers to me but they got photos up. So my dad and his wife converted the old playroom in our house to a study room for me and her son to use for homework and it has been used lately for remote school. We were allowed to decorate and put whatever photos in our own space. He got the photos he wanted but I was told to take down the family photo of when my mom was alive. This was a year ago. My dad's wife said it was hard for her to see photos of my mom. I told her it was hard for me to see photos of her in the house but I coped. When both her and my dad said the final answer was no I just stopped using the room. My dad told me to not make it such a big deal. I said her son could put up photos of his dead grandpa but I couldn't put up one of my dead mom and it wasn't fair. That my mom should be allowed into my spaces. My dad said this needs to be home for everyone and I said at the time it wasn't home for me. It bothers them now that we're doing school remotely the whole time that I won't use it. I use my bedroom. They said they turned it into a space for school for us and I should appreciate the effort enough to use it. I told them to let me have a photo of my mom in there and I would but no was still the answer. My dad said I am being very unfair and childish about it. He also told me I'm the one making it not feel like home. I said they're the ones who refused to let me have a photo on my desk in the study space too. I pointed out since it's not his wife's space it should be fine but they have such a big problem with it. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole. Everything you said was completely correct. If anyone is being childish, it is the adult woman who is hurt by a picture of her stepdaughter's deceased mother. Stand your ground on this one. You're not being an asshole or unappreciative.
Not the asshole. They should not be making these efforts to make it as if your mom didn't exist. Your stepmom seems very insecure and immature about this and your father should be sticking up for you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you wanting to put up a picture of your mother. Your stepmom needs to understand she is never going to replace her and make peace with that. Your dad should realize that no matter who he marries, you have a mother and she deserves to be honored in your home.
Not the asshole. Dad, your wife is so threatened by the fact my mother existed that I am not allowed to have a piece of printed paper in what is supposed to be space meant for my use because she might have to look at it. You are so hellbent on catering to the woman you married you are ignoring the clearly stated needs of your child. Of the three of us, I am the least immature in this situation. Don't believe me? Let's go to family counseling, and let a trained professional sort it out. Not the asshole. Don't give up. Order some t-shirts with her picture on it.
Not the asshole at all. Why would it hurt stepmom? She's a grown-ass woman who knew she was marrying into a widower with a child's family.
Not the asshole. Your dad and stepmom are being very immature and selfish about this. Not the asshole. You dad seems more concerned with a grown woman's feelings than trying to make his house feel like your home too.
Not the asshole. Maybe I can loosely understand the living room part. It is still really dumb and hurtful to you and your cohesion as a stepfamily. But the part about the learning space is just bullshit and seems arbitrary to me. If I were a better person, I would not recommend malicious compliance. Like making sure with your dad very clearly that you are allowed pictures of your mom in your room without them forbidding it. And after he complies, get a wall-sized picture of her face and place it at a wall. Of course, this will likely not help in solving your family's problem, but the look on their face might be hilarious. Totally not the asshole. It seems a bit petty to not allow one but can maybe understand the living room, although if you are meant to be allowed to decorate the office space however you like then you should be allowed a photo of your bio mum or even one of you and her together, and while there is nothing wrong with it a family photo if it has your mum and dad in it, then that might be a bit much.
Why is your dad so okay with this new woman erasing your actual mother? Does he not want to remember her and expect you to do the same? Not the asshole. It's your right to have something of your mother around you. They are being horribly insensitive. Did your stepmom know your mother? Why would it be painful for her? I feel like your stepmother's insecurity and your father's enabling if it are a lost cause here.
You are not the asshole and you are not being childish about it either. It is interesting he says you're the one making it not feel like home when you have complied with their requests to not hang the frame up anywhere. You can also appreciate the effort that went into the study space, but that does not mean you have to use it, and they are going to have to learn that.
Not the asshole. Your father is a disgusting coward. He should be sticking up for you instead of putting his wife first.
Not the asshole, but your dad and his wife are. When the time comes and you move out, I would put up pictures of you mom all over your home and none of your dad's wife and her son. If they then complain, all you will need to do is look at them and point out the fact that you finally have a real home. Frankly, unless it is mealtime or you need to use the bathroom, I could see you just staying in your bedroom, since apparently that is the only space in the house that is yours. Not the asshole. Your dad is being horrible sorry about that and you are right to be upset.
Info. Does your stepbrother have pictures of his father in these shared spaces you're wanting pictures of your mom?
Not the asshole. To quote Steven Universe, I am a child. What's your excuse? Your father and stepmother are not being fair to you. It's a reasonable request to have one picture of your mom up. Your stepmother is an adult, and the fact that she can't handle her own jealousy over a woman that's no longer here says volumes about her character. I don't know if it would help, but maybe suggesting family therapy or some way to get another adult to point out how ridiculous they are being would be good, since they refuse to listen to you.
Not the asshole. My dad died in 2014. My mom moved in with a new guy in 2018. He has a hallway where one side is his family and the other is mine. Pictures of my dad are up in various places. I'm sorry you're going through this shit.
Your dad is a loser who cares more about his wife's feelings. NTA.
Not the asshole. I'd have a photo of my mom as the background of every digital item I owned. And have her photo screen printed on mugs and pens and t-shirts. Your dad shouldn't let your stepmom try to erase your mom.
Not the asshole. They're the ones being childish. Your stepmom sounds jealous of her. If she can't handle the fact that your father was previously married, how does she handle the fact that he has a child with a different woman? You deserve to remember your mother and have pictures of her. It seems like your stepmom wants to remove her completely from your life. Info. Does your stepbrother have a picture up of his dad?
Not the asshole. The only one being childish is his wife. She feels threatened by someone who is dead. Your own mother who raised you until she died, and you're not allowed to have a photo of her in a room you're using? Honestly, she needs therapy if her self-esteem is put down by your late mother. Your dad is also an asshole for not defending you and agreeing with his wife. Personally, I'd show him this post, even ask some friends on their opinions too. They'll most likely agree with you. And what would your dad think if people outside the home knew about this? He knows what he's doing, whether he doesn't want to hurt his new wife or doesn't care about your opinion in this.
Absolutely not the asshole, and I would recommend making copies of your photos to hide safely away, just in case your asshole of a father and stepmother decide to permanently remove the photos from the house without your consent.
Not the asshole. This is where I would get in trouble for causing trouble. I would share the picture and the story on Facebook. Let them all get called out. Unfortunately, that will likely only cause you more grief.
Not the asshole. You should able to be comfortable in your own home. Don't let your stepmom diminish the memory of your mother over misplaced jealousy.
Not the asshole. This is a blatant case of a parent alienating their kid to appease their new so. The fact that they called you childish is so ironic when they are the ones offended by a photograph of somebody who is extremely important to you. How can your dad be so callous towards a woman he supposedly loved? Don't use that room, it's there so your dad can say he tried to help you, not to actually help you. Jumping on this response to add, if they want childish, I'd personally be saving some extra money to have multiple t-shirts made with my mom's face on them. Not only would I give these out as gifts to my entire family for all occasions, I would also be wearing one every day. Hide them, of course, so stepmom can't destroy them. Op is not the asshole, and the stepmom is childish. I would refer to her by her first name only, especially if she finds it disrespectful. Because you can decide to respect her when she learns to respect you.
Not the asshole. I'm impressed with how maturely you are handling this situation and expressing your feelings. Your stepmother is taking out her feelings of jealousy and insecurity on you, and your father is prioritizing the unreasonable expectations of an adult over the reasonable expectations of his daughter.
Not the asshole. My heart is breaking for you. My mom passed away when I was 13, I'm 27 now, and I can relate to how hard it is to try and keep memories of your mom alive when your dad has remarried. I am so sorry for the way that they are acting and treating you. I wish I had some kind of advice or a way to make it all better. Just know that you 100% are not the asshole. If you can find a way to see a counselor, if you have a trusted one through your school, I'd recommend confiding in them. You should feel heard and accepted and know that you are not the one responsible for making the house you're living in not feel like a home.
Not the asshole. I could understand her perspective if your mom was alive, I wouldn't condone it still, but she's competing with someone who can't ever compete back or defend herself. Someone who is only alive in your memory. Yet another failed blending on am I the asshole because one child isn't taken into account to spare a grown person's jealousy. You are more than reasonable here.
Not the asshole. Your dad and stepmonster are both giant assholes. Are any of your mom's family around where you can go to escape? Your dad and his wife's behavior is toxic and you deserve a sanctuary. I would also seek out a guidance counselor and complain they are not letting you grieve your mom. I'd also confront your dad and say, so you want to erase mom as if she didn't exist? Because I will always remember my mom.
Not the asshole. You have handled this very well.
Not the asshole. Your dad is an idiot for trying to erase your mum from your life, and your stepmother is one too for being jealous of someone who has sadly passed. They are treating you terribly. I'm so sorry, Op. All I can say is hang on in there. Work your ass off and get your own place as soon as you can. Obviously, when you do, get a giant canvas of your mum in the living room.
Not the asshole. You sound very mature and you handled this well, despite the fact you're clearly still hurting. I honestly can't communicate how sad this post makes me. Op. You're still grieving for your mother while the rest of the family wants to ignore her, and by association you. I think you need to sit down with your father and his wife and explain that you don't want to replace her, or make her feel unwelcome in her own home. You just want space to grieve the woman who raised you. It doesn't mean you don't respect your stepmom, or otherwise trying to distance her from the family. You can have a relationship with your new stepmom without ignoring the existence of your mother. Good luck, Op.
How can someone be jealous of a dead partner? This is so disrespectful and shows a lot of insecurity. Not the asshole.
Info. Is the photo one of just your mom or is it of your mom and dad together?
Not the asshole. Your dad and stepmother sound awful. Your mum's photo should go wherever you want it to go.
Not the asshole. And if I had the means, I'd send you 8 t-shirts with your mother's face on them so she could be with you and visible no matter what room you're in.
Not the asshole. Maybe suggest some therapy for his wife next time they say no. It can't feel good for her to constantly be so threatened by a dead woman. SMH.
Not the asshole. The ability to acknowledge the past and not feel threatened by it is a good sign of maturity. Your stepmother does not exhibit that trait.
Not the asshole. Half a lifetime ago, I was you. We weren't allowed to have photos of our mom. My sister was discouraged from practicing piano because her banging gave SM a headache, even though she was practicing short, classical pieces. SM alienated us enough that I moved out at 17, and never really came back after college. Short visits at holidays, where my super selfish SM made everything about herself and her kids. When my dad was dying, he regretted that he and I were not closer, but all I could do was shrug. He had been the adult, and he allowed SM to make our home life extremely uncomfortable for us. I really think he broke faith with my mother on this. Show my response to your dad. Maybe he will recognize himself and make some changes before it's too late for him.
Not the asshole. This is a huge issue. It's not like your mom is still around, so those pictures are really all you have of her. Having a picture up is a great way to honor her memory. Your stepmom probably doesn't like the thought of your dad being married before, which honestly makes no sense when she has a child herself, but you should be perfectly able to have pictures of your mom up. It seems like your dad is more focused on pleasing his new wife than anybody, and I'm sorry you're having to deal with this. Try to talk them into going to family therapy. Would benefit everyone.
I'm so impressed by the way you are handling things. Not the asshole. But your dad and stepmom suck. You should be allowed to honor your mom in your home. It also sounds like this instance could indicate a much larger problem. Have you been able to properly grieve your mom? Have conversations and share memories with your dad? This is all part of the process of grief, one that you need. If possible, I recommend talking with a therapist to get through this and help you stay strong. Hopefully your dad is smart enough to allow that.
Not the asshole. I can't wait until you get out of that house. Your sperm donor and his wife are real pieces of work.
Not the asshole. You need to ask your NSM why is she so afraid of a woman that is dead and was out of the picture, supposedly when she met your dad.
Not the asshole. Wow. They won't let you have a photo of your dead mom. Wow.
Do you have any family members you could stay with? It's past time for you to let your dad know how serious this is. That his spoiled, insecure wife is driving you away with this behavior. Sure, he can make you come home at first until a judge finds out how he's been treating you, but if he actually wants you to be a real part of his new family, he has to do better. Especially if he wants contact with you as an adult. If you can't go stay with a friend or relative to really prove your point, then stand your ground as best as you can. I would refuse to do anything with him, not even eat dinner.
Not the asshole. The only R's here are the woman, who's somehow threatened by the photo of a dead woman, and the spineless man not doing anything about it. Just wondering how they might feel if their pictures of family members disappeared. As they might make Op feel uncomfortable. Sorry, I know, very naughty of me.